What did you make of the Marquise Brown comment that he wanted out of Baltimore because of Greg Roman? You know, he said last week, nothing against Lamar Jackson, but I just didn't like the system. Well, the system is Lamar Jackson. So I know that there's a great relationship between Lamar and Hollywood, but it's kind of hard to separate Greg Roman and Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. What, Mike, I think what Hollywood Brown saw, and the reason why he seemed like a free bird when he got to the Arizona Cardinals draft party on Thursday night. Did you see that he was flown there in Michael Bidwill's
hidden
private plane? And yeah, and so the interesting thing was, and I found this really, really interesting, that he looked so free and so everything. And I can just tell you that, I think his level of dissatisfaction with the play calling and with him being given deep threat opportunities in that offense was just very, very limited. And he thought there was no way he was ever going to get paid averaging. It wouldn't matter. Whatever he caught, 90 balls last year, if he's averaging 11 yards a catch. It's not good enough. And too often, I think he felt like he was a decoy or he wasn't really used for what he should be used for. And that's why, to me, after the draft, after Lamar Jackson did the WTF tweet, I just shrugged my shoulders and I said, just my thing. But Lamar Jackson is good friends with Hollywood Brown. He's got to know how unhappy Hollywood Brown is. Okay? So, knowing how unhappy Hollywood Brown is, he would know that the future there was not really great. So, I don't know why he sent the tweet, but in my opinion, it's fairly harmless. And it's probably just whatever dissatisfaction he had, I'm sure is going to go away. I think the last point about this puts some significant pressure now on Kyler Murray to kind of swallow his anger and to figure out something short-term, at least with the Arizona Cardinals. Kind of like it's Steve Keim a little bit saying, hey, we went and got your guy. You love Hollywood Brown. You loved him at Oklahoma. This is the deep threat that you have wanted. We let Christian Kirk go. DeAndre Hopkins not going to be there early, even though they didn't know that exactly at the time. But I do think that this is a bit of an olive branch from the Cardinals to their young quarterback, Kyler Murray.
You're right, and it worked. It worked. And I think that fire has been extinguished, and I suspect they'll get a deal done with Murray at some point this summer. The Ravens won't get a deal done with Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar Jackson's reaction was aimed at trying to throw water on the idea that maybe some receivers don't want to play with him. Nothing against him, but if you're not going to be throwing the ball to me, I want to go somewhere where they will be throwing the ball to me. And there's a fascinating question. How much of it is Roman? How much of it is Lamar? What are the game plans? Does Lamar stick with the game plan, or does Lamar decide I'm going to run the ball even if the pass is there because I know I can get 10, 15 yards based on this crack that I see? I'm fast enough and I'm strong enough to get my way to the sticks instead of risking a ball that could get picked off, who knows? Because I think back to Roman's time with the 49ers, Peter, and the best example, we talked about this last week on PFTPM, Miles Simmons and I did after this all came up with Hollywood Brown. Playoffs in 2012, Colin Kaepernick runs roughshod over the Green Bay Packers. They get together week 1 of the next season. Packers are ready to keep Colin Kaepernick from running. What happens? He throws for 412 yards. We rarely see a defense load up to stop Lamar Jackson and the Ravens air it out. We rarely see it, and I want to know why. And I don't think we'll ever know the answer to that question.
I don't think we're ever going to know either, but a lot of times, Mike, in stories like this, and let's just talk for one more second about Lamar Jackson and Hollywood Brown. I think Lamar Jackson has great respect for his coaches and for the play call that is called. And if the play call says Mark Andrews or wheel route of the backfield, wheel route out of the backfield, and if Hollywood Brown is like, let's say, the fourth option on a play, he's going to live by the progression that the coaches say. Now, again, it's hard to know exactly, in a granular way, the level of discourse that happens. But I really think that above all, you have to look at what a team like Baltimore is. And look, the San Francisco thing was a little bit different, but what a team like Baltimore was, or is, quite honestly, it's a tight end based team. It's a running based team. And if you are a fleet wide receiver, you're going to have some chances, but a good chance, it's not going to be as many as you'd like.
Well, that's going to be a reality for the Ravens as long as they run that offense. They can draft receivers, but as the receivers progress, they're going to see that their opportunities to get paid and get used more are going to be elsewhere.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.